To talk about tonight, we've just learned President Donald Trump will unveil the details of his plan to impose tariffs on imported steel and aluminum sometime tomorrow. The proposal has upset the stock market and drawn criticism from Republican lawmakers who liken tariffs to taxes. A lot of local people are not sure what to make of the president's plan, and some are not even sure exactly what is a tariff. Excuse me, I'm looking for a good definition of tariff.
It's pretty much levying money against something that's being brought into the United States.
Tariff is something that does with dealing with products.
What's a tariff?
Change, tax.
Okay, I'll take that. Why does the president want to do this?
I don't know why the president wants to do anything.
You look like the smartest one in the group. What's a tariff?
I mean, I don't think he understands an economic system or a system of tariffs or a tax system or how a country runs.
Essentially a punishment, but
right.
It's a punishment
to other countries for, if he feels that we're being mistreated or done wrong, it's a punishment.
Right.
Well, we're going to make it more expensive for your products to come into our country.
That's a good word. That sounds educated. I'm going to use that word tariff as often as I can.
Who can tell me what a tariff is?
Internal trade in our country, because there's not that extra cost to it.
In place of tariff, put in the word tax. It's a tax on the goods and services that come into this country from foreign countries. It dries up the cost of those goods and services, and it gives an advantage to those goods and services that are produced right here at home. Problem is, we place tariffs on what comes here, they place tariffs on our goods that go over there, and before you know it, we have a trade war which hobbles the economies all over the world.
I totally get that you want tariffs on aluminum or steel from South Korea, for example, or from Brazil, because it's not fair conditions what they are doing, because it's really cheap stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But there are fair conditions, I would say, with Canada, with Germany. So why punish those countries, allies?
Okay, let's get to the question on your mind. When President Trump imposes these tariffs sometime tomorrow, how will it impact you, affect your wallet, your household? Mark Avalon is with Potomac Wealth Advisors. He joins me now. Mark, what does this mean for the average American, these tariffs?
Well, right now, nothing, but very shortly, if they come into play, higher prices for a variety of goods and services if foreign countries retaliate against us.
Higher prices because what? These countries, let's say China, steel, they pass those prices on to us? Is that what we're talking about?
Well, if we're going to put a tariff on their goods, which make their goods less attractive here, they're going to put a tariff on our goods going over there. So what we import from them now will be more expensive, and that will raise the prices of products that those goods go into.
Like a car.
Like a car.
Car, steel.
Sure.
Lots of steel into a car. President says, though, and I saw a piece on CBS tonight where steelworkers, Pennsylvania, they're convinced this will mean more steel that's made here, sold here. In return, that'll mean expansion, more jobs here for steelworkers who are out of work.
It may expand the domestic market for steel produced here. He's right. The challenge is, or the problem is, steel making in this country is a very small part of our economy. It's visible, it's important, great workers, great tradition, important for defense, but it's about 170,000 jobs. So if we get a bump there, but we get a slowdown in other exporting industries that are no longer as attractive overseas, the net effect could even be negative.
Yeah, and this is why the market reacts the way that it has. It doesn't like this. It doesn't like the president's plan. Republicans don't like the president's tariffs.
Right. That's one of the reasons. I mean, there's a couple of reasons. If we get tariffs and there's a trade war, you're going to see a rise in prices. Inflation isn't good. So exporters will get hurt. Consumers here in the States get hurt. There really isn't a good upside. I mean, the president's trying to get through a narrow path here where other countries don't retaliate and our steel exports go up. That's unlikely.
You say there's no real upside here. I'm going to assume, and I don't know why, but I'm going to assume Mr. Cohn and others have made that case to the president. I'm going to assume the House Speaker, Senate Majority Leader, and others have made the same case you just made to the president. There isn't much of an upside, and yet he goes ahead and he's going to impose these tariffs anyway. Go figure.
Yeah, Paul Ryan wasn't in favor of it. Gary Cohn obviously wasn't. He's headstrong about this. He did make a campaign promise. He told us this was coming. So we were warned and we were alerted. And there is an upside, and that is if you're in one of those direct industries, such as steel or aluminum, it might help. But broadly speaking, the net effect doesn't look to be positive. If it were, the stock market might have had a different reaction.
Yeah, one more question about if you're in one of those industries. Let's talk steel, for example. The president is also, we're going to be spending a lot of money on defense, building out the military. You're going to need steel for that. That's
Right.
going to benefit the local industry, right?
Sure, and we will gain independence if we get into a conflict. We're not dependent on foreign entities. I get the concept of it. I have to think there might have been different ways or different channels, different approaches. I know he's the master negotiator, as some say, or especially as he says, but there were ways that this could have been rolled out that weren't so dramatic, that had such an immediate response around the world.
Got it. Okay. Mark, thanks a lot. I appreciate it. To be continued. All right.